The world you experience is not an objective reality. It is a mirror. Every person you meet, every circumstance you encounter, and every condition of your life is a direct reflection of what you assume to be true within yourself. We have been taught to fight with the reflection, to struggle against the outer world in an attempt to change it, never realizing that the power to transform the entire picture lies not in action, but in assumption. The great secret of life is that consciousness is the one and only reality, and your world is nothing more than your own consciousness pushed out. If you can grasp this single, profound truth, you will find that you are not a victim of your life, but the sole and absolute creator of it. This book is your guide to understanding and applying this law, the most powerful and direct path to creating the life of abundance you desire. The Law of Assumption. Your world is you pushed out, written and published by Success Attraction Formula. Chapter 1. Understanding the Law of Assumption. Imagine your life as a grand motion picture. You are the lead actor, experiencing every scene, every moment of drama, joy, and struggle. You believe you are simply following a script that has been written for you by some outside force called fate or circumstance. What you have forgotten is that you are also the director, sitting in a quiet room, making every decision. You are the one who chooses the sets, who approves the dialogue, and who decides the ultimate outcome of the story. The actor on the screen is simply playing out the vision you, the director, hold in your imagination. This is the fundamental nature of our reality. We are all living as actors in a movie we are directing ourselves, but we have become so lost in the role that we have forgotten our own creative power. We react to the events on the screen of our life as if they are final and real, failing to realize they are only shadows projected from the light of our own consciousness. We struggle to change the external world, fighting with the other actors and trying to rearrange the sets, when all we ever needed to do was go back into the director's chair and change the vision. This feeling of powerlessness is the root of all human struggle. We look at our bank accounts, our relationships, and our health, and we believe these external conditions define us. We see ourselves as victims of the economy, of our upbringing, of other people's choices. We spend our lives reacting to a world we believe is happening to us. We work harder, we struggle more, we try to force the outer world to conform to our wishes, but it is like fighting with a mirror. The harder you push against the reflection, the harder it appears to push back. This constant battle against the external world is exhausting and ultimately fruitless, because it is based on a false premise. It is based on the belief that power lies outside of you. As long as you believe this, you will remain an actor in a play you do not enjoy, forever wishing for a different script instead of realizing you are the one who wrote it. The cycle of disappointment and frustration will continue, because you are trying to change the effect while ignoring the cause. The cause of your entire life, every last detail of it, is your own set of assumptions. The solution to this dilemma is the most direct and powerful creative principle in the universe, the law of assumption. This law states that an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. In other words, whatever you assume to be true becomes your reality. Your assumptions are the beliefs and convictions you hold about yourself and the world, and these assumptions are the creative seeds that blossom into the circumstances of your life. The world you see is nothing more than you, your own consciousness, pushed out into physical form. If you want to change any aspect of your life, you do not change the outer circumstance. You change the inner assumption that is creating that circumstance. This is the ultimate paradigm shift. It moves you from a position of being a victim of your world to being the sole creator of it. It reveals that you are not a powerless actor, but the all-powerful director. With this understanding, you stop trying to change the mirror and you begin to change the one who is being reflected. Your focus shifts from the outer world of effects to the inner world of causes, which is the only place where true creative power resides. The first principle to grasp is that your subconscious mind is the builder. Your conscious mind is the architect. It creates the blueprint through your assumptions. Your subconscious mind takes this blueprint and, without question or judgment, works tirelessly to construct it in your physical world. It does not care if the assumption is good or bad for you, true or false. It simply accepts what you feel to be true and makes it so. If you consistently assume that life is a struggle, your subconscious mind will filter your perception and orchestrate events to ensure that you experience a struggle. It will cause you to overlook easy opportunities and be drawn to difficult situations. If you assume you are wealthy, your subconscious mind will guide your thoughts and actions to align with wealth, opening your eyes to opportunities and ideas that were previously hidden from you. This is why willpower is often ineffective. You can consciously try to force a change, but if your underlying subconscious assumption is in opposition, it is like trying to swim against a powerful current. To change your life, you must give your subconscious builder a new blueprint. The second principle is that feeling is the secret. An assumption is not merely a passing thought. You may think, I am wealthy 1,000 times a day, but if you do not feel wealthy, you are not truly assuming it. An assumption is a belief that has been accepted with feeling. To assume the state of your wish fulfilled means to imagine what it would feel like if your dream were already a present fact, and then to live in that feeling. What would be your dominant emotional state if you were already the wealthy, successful, and happy person you desire to be? Would it be a feeling of relief, of security, of confidence, of joy? That feeling is the creative language of the subconscious mind. When you can successfully generate the feeling of your wish fulfilled within yourself, your subconscious mind accepts it as a fact of your reality. It does not distinguish between a felt experience in your imagination and a real experience in the outer world. For the subconscious, feeling is reality. Therefore, the art of manifestation is the art of controlling your inner feelings and moods. Finally, you must understand the mirror principle in its entirety. The people in your life are messengers, telling you what you are assuming about yourself. If you assume you are unlovable, people will reflect this back to you by treating you poorly. If you change your assumption to know, with deep conviction, that you are worthy of love and respect, those same people will either change their behavior toward you, or they will drift out of your life, to be replaced by people who mirror your new assumption. Do not try to change other people. Change your assumption about yourself, and they have no choice but to change. The same is true for every condition. Your bank account is a mirror of your assumptions about abundance. Your health is a mirror of your assumptions about vitality. Your entire world is you, pushed out. See it not as a solid, unchangeable reality, but as a beautiful, responsive mirror that is always showing you the contents of your own mind. When you truly understand this, you will never feel like a victim again. You will know that to change your life, you simply have to change your mind. You now understand the foundational law that governs all of creation. You know that your assumptions, impressed upon your subconscious mind through feeling, are the cause of your reality. But this knowledge, while powerful, is only the first step. You have spent a lifetime building a complex structure of beliefs, many of which may be limiting your potential for wealth and happiness. How do you identify these hidden, negative assumptions? And what is the practical method for dismantling them and replacing them with the powerful assumptions of abundance that will build the life you truly desire? In our next chapter, we will delve into the practical art of shifting your core beliefs. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 2. Shifting your beliefs for abundance. What if the beliefs you hold most sacred about your own potential, about money, and about the nature of success are the very walls of the prison you are living in? Imagine you were given a powerful, fertile garden at birth, capable of growing anything you desire. But as a child, others, your family, your teachers, your culture, came and planted seeds in your garden without your knowledge. They planted seeds of doubt, like, you're not smart enough. They planted seeds of scarcity, like, money doesn't grow on trees, and you have to work hard for every penny. Now, as an adult, you consciously desire to grow a beautiful garden of abundance. You try to plant new seeds of success, but the old, deeply rooted weeds of your limiting beliefs choke them out before they can ever sprout. This is the inner conflict that keeps most people from achieving their dreams. They consciously want one thing, but their subconscious beliefs, the powerful, invisible programs running in the background of their minds, are fundamentally opposed to it. This creates a state of self-sabotage, where every step forward is met with an unconscious pull backward, ensuring that they remain trapped within the familiar confines of their limiting beliefs. The solution is to become a conscious gardener of your mind. You must engage in the work of belief restructuring, a deliberate and systematic process of identifying the weeds of your limiting beliefs, pulling them out by the roots, and consciously planting the new seeds of your desired reality. This is not a passive process. It requires honesty, courage, and a willingness to examine the foundational beliefs upon which you have built your life. But this work is the most liberating journey you will ever undertake. By changing your beliefs, you change the very cause of your experience. You are no longer fighting the effects in the outer world. You are rewriting the script at its source. When you successfully replace a core limiting belief with an empowering one, you do not just change a thought, you change your entire reality. The old prison walls dissolve, and you find yourself standing in a field of infinite possibility, free to plant and grow whatever you wish. The first step in this process is to conduct a thorough belief inventory. You cannot change a belief that you are not aware of. Many of our most powerful beliefs operate from the shadows of our subconscious mind. To bring them into the light, you must become a detective of your own thoughts and feelings. Take a journal and create a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. Then, write down the following prompts and answer them with complete, uncensored honesty. The first answer that comes to mind is usually the most truthful one. The prompts are, my beliefs about money are, rich people are, to become wealthy I would have to, I believe I am worthy of wealth because, and the story my family told me about money was. Do not judge your answers. Simply observe them. This process is like turning on a light in a dark room. For the first time, you will see the hidden architecture of your financial reality. You might uncover beliefs like money is stressful, I'm not good at managing money, or wanting a lot of money is greedy. These are the weeds that have been silently sabotaging your efforts. Once you have a clear list of your limiting beliefs, the next step is the belief reversal. This is the act of consciously choosing and defining your new, empowering beliefs. For every single negative belief you uncovered in your inventory, you must write its powerful, positive opposite. This new statement should be written in the present tense, as if it is already a fact. For example, if you identified the belief, money is hard to come by, your new belief statement would be, money flows to me easily, consistently, and from multiple sources. If you found the belief, I'm not worthy of great success, your new assumption becomes, I am inherently worthy and deserving of unlimited abundance and success. This is not about lying to yourself. It is about choosing the new reality you wish to experience. You are the director of your movie. This is the part where you write the new script. Create a clean list of only your new, empowering assumptions. This list becomes your new manifesto, the blueprint for the new garden you are about to plant. The third and most crucial step is the repetition ritual. A new belief, like a new seed, needs to be nurtured and watered consistently before it can take root and grow strong. Simply writing down your new assumptions once is not enough to impress them upon your subconscious mind. You must engage in a daily ritual of repetition until these new beliefs feel more natural to you than your old ones. There are several ways to do this. The most effective method is to read your list of new assumptions every morning upon waking and every evening before falling asleep. These are the times when the veil between your conscious and subconscious mind is at its thinnest, making your mind most receptive to new programming. As you read each assumption, do not just say the words mechanically. Try to generate the feeling that the assumption is true. For the assumption, money flows to me easily. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the feeling of relief and freedom that would come with that reality. This combination of repetition and feeling is what drives the new belief deep into the subconscious, where it will begin to automatically direct your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Another powerful technique is to record yourself reading your new assumptions aloud and listen to the recording throughout the day, letting the words wash over your consciousness. Imagine a woman who, through her belief inventory, discovers a deep-seated belief that you have to struggle and sacrifice to be successful. She realizes this belief has caused her to stay in difficult jobs and to feel guilty when things come easily to her. She performs a belief reversal and creates her new assumption. Success and ease are my natural state. I achieve my goals with joy and flow. She then begins her repetition ritual. Every morning and night, she reads this new assumption, feeling the sense of freedom and lightness that comes with it. Over a few weeks, she starts to notice a shift. An opportunity for a promotion at work appears, one that seems much easier and more enjoyable than her current role. In the past, she might have dismissed it as too good to be true. Now, because her underlying belief has shifted, she sees it as a natural reflection of her new assumption, and she confidently pursues and gets the position. She did not change her external world through struggle. She changed her internal belief, and the external world rearranged itself accordingly. You now have the practical tools to become the gardener of your mind, to clear out the old weeds of scarcity and plant the powerful seeds of abundance. This is the foundational work that makes all other manifestation techniques effective. But once you have chosen your new beliefs, how do you make them feel intensely real, even before they have appeared in your physical world? How do you use the incredible power of your imagination, not just to daydream, but to meticulously construct your new reality with such vividness that your mind has no choice but to accept it as a present fact? Our next chapter will guide you through the master skill of visualizing your desired reality. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 3. Visualizing your desired reality. Imagine your mind as a powerful movie studio, equipped with the most advanced technology in the universe. It can create any scene, any reality, with perfect clarity and detail. Every day, you are the director of this studio, and you have the absolute power to choose what movie you are going to produce. What movie are you currently playing on the screen of your imagination? For most people, this powerful studio is, tragically, being used to produce horror films. They spend their days running mental movies of what they fear. They visualize arguments with their loved ones. They see themselves failing at important tasks. They imagine looking at an empty bank account, and they play out scenes of future worry and disaster. They are using their divine creative power, their imagination, to meticulously rehearse the very experiences they do not want. This negative visualization is, in effect, a powerful form of prayer for what they are afraid of. The subconscious mind, being the faithful servant, sees these vivid, emotionally charged movies and assumes they are the blueprint for what it should create. And so, it diligently works to bring these fears into their physical reality. The solution is to seize control of your mental movie studio and become a conscious director of your inner world. You must stop using your imagination by default and start using it with deliberate, creative intent. This is the practice of sensory-rich creation, a technique that goes far beyond simple, blurry visualization. It is the art of crafting a short, specific, and static scene in your imagination that would take place after your desire has been fulfilled. You then loop this scene over and over, infusing it with as much sensory detail and feeling as possible, until it begins to feel less like a fantasy and more like a memory. This process impresses your subconscious mind with the reality of your completed desire. It provides a clear, finished blueprint and commands your subconscious to build that exact reality. When done correctly, this practice is not just wishful thinking. It is the actual act of creation, taking place on the level of consciousness, which is the only place where creation ever truly happens. The first principle of this practice is to always visualize the end scene. You must never visualize the process of how you will get your desire. Do not imagine yourself winning the lottery, getting the promotion, or building the business step by step. This is because focusing on the how inevitably introduces elements of doubt, worry, and complexity. Your conscious mind does not know the best way for your desire to manifest. The subconscious mind, which is connected to a universal intelligence, has access to ways and means that you could never conceive of. Your job is not to figure out the path. Your job is to define the destination. To do this, you must ask yourself, if my wish were fulfilled right now, what is a simple action I would perform, or a simple scene I would experience that would imply that it is done? The scene should be short, simple, and contain you and perhaps one other person. It should be a moment of celebration, relief, or simple acknowledgement that your goal has been achieved. For example, if your desire is for a specific amount of money, you would not visualize the money falling from the sky. The end scene could be you looking at your online bank statement, seeing the exact balance you desire, and feeling a profound sense of security and gratitude. The second principle is to always see the scene from a first-person perspective. You must be the actor in your mental movie, not a spectator watching it from the audience. You are not watching a film of yourself being successful. You are the successful person. When you imagine your scene, you must see it through your own eyes. If your scene is shaking hands with someone to celebrate a new partnership, you should see your own hand moving to meet theirs. You should see the scene from your natural eye level. This is a critical distinction. Viewing a scene in the third person, as if watching yourself on a screen, keeps it at a distance. It feels like a story about someone else. Viewing it in the first person makes it a direct, personal experience. It tricks your subconscious mind into believing that this is happening to you right now. This is how you blur the line between imagination and reality. You are not just creating a picture, you are creating an experience. The third and most essential principle is to infuse your scene with the power of feeling. A mental image without feeling is like a car without fuel. It has no power to move. As you loop your short, static scene in your imagination, your primary goal is to generate the corresponding emotional state of the wish fulfilled. What would you feel if this scene were actually happening in your physical world? Would you feel ecstatic joy, quiet satisfaction, profound relief, deep gratitude? You must capture that specific feeling and bring it into your imagined scene. As you visualize shaking someone's hand, do not just see the hand. Feel the firm, warm grip, their sincere words of congratulations, and most importantly, feel the surge of pride, excitement, and accomplishment welling up inside you. As you visualize looking at your bank statement, feel the weight lift from your shoulders. Feel the deep breath of relief you would take. Feel the quiet, powerful sense of peace and security washing over you. This feeling is the electric current that brings your imagined scene to life. It is the signature of reality that convinces your subconscious mind that the wish has been fulfilled. Let us consider two examples. A person desiring a new home might create an end scene of themselves standing in the living room of their new house, holding a set of keys in their hand. In the first person, they would see their own hand holding the shiny keys. They would look around the room, seeing the way the sunlight streams through the windows. They would smell the faint scent of fresh paint. They would feel the smooth, cool metal of the keys in their palm. And as they looped this scene, they would cultivate the overwhelming feeling of joy, gratitude, and a sense of finally being home. Another person, who desires to heal a relationship, might create an end scene of having a relaxed, happy conversation with that person. They would see the other person's smiling face through their own eyes. They would hear the sound of their easy laughter, and they would cultivate the feeling of warmth, connection, and unconditional love. This practice, performed consistently each night as you are drifting off to sleep, is the most powerful way to impress the subconscious mind. You are planting the seed of your fulfilled desire in the fertile soil of your sleepy, receptive mind. You now possess the master tool of creation. You have learned how to take control of your inner movie studio and produce the exact reality you desire. You understand that the key is not just to see a picture, but to create a short, first-person, sensory-rich experience and to saturate it with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. But what happens after the session is over? What do you do when you open your eyes and your physical, three-dimensional world still seems to reflect your old, unwanted circumstances? How are you supposed to act and feel throughout your day in a way that supports your new inner assumption, even when the outside world appears to contradict it? Our next chapter will teach you the crucial art of aligning your daily actions with your powerful new assumptions. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 4. Aligning Actions with Assumptions. Imagine a gifted actor who has been cast in the role of a lifetime, the part of a powerful, wealthy, and respected monarch. In the quiet of his dressing room, he has done the deep work of embodying this character. He has meditated on the feeling of power, visualized himself wearing the heavy crown, and feels in his very bones the unwavering confidence of a king. He has successfully assumed the new state. Yet, when the curtain rises and he steps onto the stage of life, a strange thing happens. He walks with a hesitant stoop, learned from years of playing paupers. He speaks to his court with a timid, apologetic voice. When faced with a decision, he acts not with royal authority, but with the fearful scarcity of a beggar. His performance is a complete and jarring contradiction to the magnificent role he has claimed for himself internally. The audience, which is the world, is confused. The grand story of the king cannot unfold because the actor's every move screams that he is still a pauper. This is the most common and frustrating sticking point on the path of conscious creation. It is the great chasm between knowing a truth and living it. A person will spend their nights vividly imagining a life of abundance, only to spend their days living out a script of lack. This creates a state of profound energetic confusion, a civil war within one's own consciousness. This lack of congruence is the primary reason why desires once clearly visualized fail to manifest. The subconscious mind, the faithful servant that builds our reality, receives two conflicting sets of blueprints. At night, it receives the beautiful, inspiring blueprint of a palace. But during the day, it receives a constant stream of revisions and cancellations. It receives the blueprint of a shack. Every time you worry about a bill, you are handing your subconscious the blueprint for a shack. Every time you complain about prices or feel a pang of envy at another's success, you are reinforcing the blueprint for the shack. Every time you make a decision based on the fear of not having enough, you are commanding your subconscious to keep building that same old shack of your former reality. The subconscious, designed for efficiency, will always default to the most dominant, familiar, and consistently reinforced blueprint. The fleeting moments of imaginative bliss are drowned out by 16 waking hours of habitual worry, negative speech, and fearful action. You cannot hope to build a palace if you spend all your time, energy, and attention perfecting the construction of a hovel. The bridge between your inner world and your outer world will collapse under the weight of this contradiction. The solution to this critical problem is the profound discipline of living in the end. This is the art of consciously and deliberately harmonizing every aspect of your waking life, your thoughts, your words, and your actions, with the reality of your wish already being a fact. It is a commitment to perform the part of your fulfilled desire so faithfully that it becomes your new nature. This is not about faking it until you make it, which implies a lack of belief. It is about acting as if, which is an expression of faith. It is a deep understanding that your inner, imagined reality is the true substantial reality, and the outer, physical world is merely a shadow that is lagging slightly behind. When you live in the end, you stop reacting to the current evidence of your senses. You refuse to let the temporary conditions in the mirror dictate your state of being. Instead, you hold fast to your inner vision and act with the calm, unwavering confidence of the person who already possesses the thing they desire. This steadfast alignment is what dissolves the conflict in your consciousness. It erases the old blueprint and makes the new one the sole, dominant command, compelling your reality to reshape itself in its image. The first and most fundamental practice for living in the end is the rigorous application of a mental diet. Your mind produces thoughts constantly, but you are not your thoughts. You are the master of your mind, the one who chooses which thoughts to entertain and which to dismiss. A mental diet is the moment-by-moment practice of refusing to indulge in any thought that does not belong to the state of your wish fulfilled. You must become a vigilant guard at the gate of your mind. Throughout your day, when a thought of doubt, worry, fear, or lack arises, you must learn to catch it instantly. Do not fight with it. Do not suppress it. Simply acknowledge its presence and then consciously, deliberately replace it. This is a pattern interrupt. You are breaking the habitual cycle of negative thinking. For example, if you are assuming wealth and you have the thought, "I can't afford this," you immediately stop, recognize that this thought belongs to your old self, and replace it with a thought from your new self, such as, "I am so grateful that I can afford anything I truly desire," or, "All my needs are met abundantly." You must be relentless in this practice. In the beginning, you may have to do it 100 times a day, but with each replacement, you are weakening the neural pathways of the old state and strengthening the pathways of the new. You are starving the pauper and feeding the king. The second layer of this practice is to master the speech of the wish fulfilled. Your spoken words are even more powerful than your thoughts, as they are thoughts given breath and projected into the world with physical vibration. You must align your speech with your new assumption. This means a complete cessation of all forms of complaint, gossip, and negative talk related to your desire. You can no longer afford the luxury of venting to your friends about how broke you are or how difficult your life is. Every time you do so, you are performing a powerful ritual that affirms the very reality you are trying to leave behind. Instead, you must learn to speak from the end state. If you do not wish to discuss your finances, then skillfully change the subject. If you must speak, choose your words with care. Instead of saying, "I hope I can get a new job soon," a phrase which implies lack and uncertainty, you can feel the reality of having the perfect job and say, "I'm excited about the new professional opportunities that are opening up for me." This is not a lie. It is a declaration of your loyalty to your inner, true reality. You must speak as the person you have already become in your imagination. This consistent, positive speech reinforces your new state and begins to influence how others perceive and interact with you. The third and final layer is the practice of taking action from the end. Your physical actions are the ultimate expression of your inner state. They are the final seal of approval on your assumption. Your daily choices, however small, must reflect the reality you have claimed. This requires careful consideration, as it is not about being foolish or reckless. A person assuming wealth would not plunge themselves into debt to create an outer show of riches. That is an action born from desperation. Instead, they would act from a state of inner security and abundance. For example, when they go out to eat, they would no longer scan the menu for the cheapest item. They would order what they truly desire, with the quiet inner knowing that they can afford it. When buying clothes, they would choose quality over quantity, because they see themselves as someone who values and deserves lasting excellence. They would tip generously, not extravagantly, from a feeling of abundance rather than a feeling of scarcity. They might invest in a course to improve their skills, an action that demonstrates a belief in their own future growth. Every action, from the way you carry yourself to the way you manage your daily tasks, should be filtered through the question, how would the person who has already achieved my goal act in this situation? By consistently acting as that person, you make your new assumption an undeniable, living fact. Imagine a woman who wants to manifest a loving, committed partnership. In her imagination, she assumes the feeling of being a cherished, adored wife. To live in the end, she puts herself on a mental diet, refusing to entertain thoughts of loneliness or past heartbreaks. When she speaks with friends, she no longer complains about being single. Instead, she might speak about the joy she finds in her own company, reflecting the self-love of a person who is ready for a healthy partnership. In her actions, she might buy a new, beautiful set of bed linens, not for a hypothetical future partner, but for herself, because she is assuming the state of someone who lives in a beautiful, loving home environment. She acts from a place of wholeness, not neediness. Through this total alignment of her inner and outer world, she embodies the state of a beloved partner, making her manifestation a natural and inevitable event. This is the power of living in the end. It is the bridge that carries you from imagination to reality. But this path requires mental fortitude. What happens when the old self rebels with all its might, flooding your mind with seemingly overwhelming doubt? How do you conquer that final internal battle? Our next chapter will show you how. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 5. Overcoming Doubts and Limiting Thoughts. Imagine you are the rightful ruler who has just ascended to the throne of a vast kingdom, your new state of consciousness. You have declared your new, benevolent reign of abundance and happiness. But the kingdom has been under the control of a cruel and tyrannical king for decades, your old limiting state of being. This old king does not simply surrender his power peacefully. He has loyalists scattered throughout the land, the spies of self-doubt, the armies of deeply ingrained fear, and the ghosts of past failures that haunt the castle corridors. The moment your new rule is declared, these forces mount a fierce rebellion. They rise up to challenge your authority, to question your legitimacy, and to convince you and the populace that the old, miserable way of life was better, or at least safer. They will whisper in your ear, "You are an imposter. This new prosperity is not for you. Look around, nothing has changed. It is only a matter of time before you fail." This internal uprising is the most dangerous and critical phase of your creative journey. It is where your new assumption is put to the test. If you mistake these rebellious thoughts for the truth, if you believe their campaign of fear, you will abdicate your throne and willingly return to the prison of your former self. The core problem is that we are conditioned to believe our thoughts, especially the negative and fearful ones. They feel real, urgent, and authoritative. When a powerful wave of doubt washes over us, our automatic response is to panic. We engage with the doubt, we argue with it, and in doing so, we unwittingly grant it power and legitimacy. We think the presence of doubt means our new assumption is not working. We believe the feeling of fear is a prophetic sign that we are on the wrong path. We see a lack of immediate external change as definitive proof that the law is false. This reaction is a misunderstanding of the process. The rebellion of negative thoughts is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you are succeeding. It is a sign that you have so effectively disturbed the old state that its foundations are shaking, and it is fighting for its very survival. The challenge is not to eliminate the doubts, but to learn how to rule in spite of them. The solution is a masterful, two-pronged strategy of a ruler dealing with a rebellion. First, you quell the uprising with a show of unshakable authority through conscious indifference. And second, you win the hearts and minds of the kingdom by actively rewriting its history through the power of revision. This dual approach allows you to systematically dismantle the old regime while simultaneously solidifying the foundation of your new one. You do not engage the rebels on their own terms, which would be to fight doubt with more thought. Instead, you rise above the conflict. You treat the rebellion with the calm indifference of a king who knows his rule is absolute and divinely appointed. And then, you use your creative power to change the very history and memories that the rebels use as their propaganda, transforming their weapons into your monuments of victory. This strategy ensures that you not only survive the internal backlash, but use it to make your new state even stronger and more resilient. The first part of this strategy, conscious indifference, is your shield. When a negative thought, a feeling of anxiety, or a memory of a past failure arises in your mind, you must train yourself not to react. Your power lies in your ability to observe these thoughts without becoming entangled in them. Imagine you are the king sitting on your throne, and a panicked messenger, a doubtful thought, runs into the court shouting of doom. You do not leap from your throne and run screaming from the castle. You listen calmly, nod with an air of detached authority, and then dismiss the messenger. In practice, this means when the thought, "This is taking too long, it's not working," appears, you simply notice it. You can label it internally, a thought of doubt. You do not argue with it. You do not try to force it away. You simply let it be there like a cloud passing in the sky or a car driving by on the street, and you refuse to give it your emotional investment. Your indifference is a statement of power. It communicates to your subconscious mind that these thoughts are irrelevant, that they are powerless echoes from a previous administration. By refusing to water these weeds with your attention and emotion, they will eventually wither and die from neglect. The second part of the strategy, active revision, is your sword. It is the offensive tool you use to creatively transform the very fabric of your past. Your past only exists in your memory, which is a function of your imagination. It is not set in stone. Revision is the art of entering your imagination and reenacting a past event as you wished it had occurred. By doing this, you are not denying what happened in the 3D world. You are changing the cause and the effect of that event within your own consciousness, which is the only place it has any real power. To practice revision, you would, in a relaxed state, bring to mind an event from your day or your distant past that is bothering you or that contradicts your new assumption. For example, perhaps you had a conversation with a friend where you complained about money, reinforcing your old state. That evening, you would revise it. In your mind's eye, you would replay that entire conversation, but this time, you would hear yourself speaking from a place of abundance and security. You would see your friend reacting positively. You would feel the ease and confidence of this new version. You must loop this revised scene until it feels vividly real and replaces the feeling of the original memory. By revising the past, you are healing it. You are taking the poison out of old wounds and transforming them into sources of wisdom and strength. Let's look at a comprehensive example. A man is assuming the state of being a successful, confident public speaker. However, he is haunted by the memory of a presentation years ago where he froze up in front of a large audience. This memory is a powerful rebel, constantly whispering doubts in his ear. One evening, he decides to revise it. He gets comfortable, closes his eyes, and brings the memory to mind. First, he allows himself to feel the old sting of embarrassment, but then he says cut, like a director. He rewinds the mental film. Now he reenacts the scene. He sees it through his own eyes, standing at the podium. But this time, he delivers his speech with power, clarity, and charisma. He sees the audience leaning in, nodding, and smiling. He hears their enthusiastic applause at the end. He feels the incredible surge of accomplishment and pride. He loops this new, successful version of the memory over and over, infusing it with as much positive feeling as he can muster, until the old memory loses its emotional charge and the new one feels like what truly happened. He has not changed historical records, but he has changed the only thing that matters, the impression within his own consciousness. He has taken the rebel's greatest piece of propaganda and turned it into a monument to his success. This powerful combination of indifference to the present noise and active revision of the past is your path to complete mental sovereignty. It is how you patiently and methodically establish the unquestioned rule of your new assumption. You are no longer at the mercy of your own mind, you are its master. You have learned to choose your state, to align your actions with it, and now to defend it against all internal opposition. With this mastery, what is left? The final step is to transition from a king who is consciously and effortfully ruling his kingdom to one whose rule is so natural and absolute that he no longer even thinks about it. How do you make your new assumption not just a state you inhabit, but the very essence of who you are? Our final chapter will explore this ultimate stage of living in the assumption. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 6. Living in the State of Assumption. Consider the beautiful and profound process of learning to ride a bicycle. In the beginning, it is an act of intense, conscious concentration. Every movement is a struggle. You are acutely aware of your balance, the position of the pedals, the grip of your hands on the handlebars. You are doing the act of riding, and it feels clumsy, unnatural, and fraught with the constant risk of falling. Your mind is filled with the effort of it. However, if you persist through the initial wobbles and falls, a miraculous transformation occurs. One day, you get on the bicycle and you just go. You are no longer thinking about balancing or pedaling. Your body simply knows what to do. The conscious effort dissolves, and the act of writing becomes a natural, effortless extension of your will. You are no longer doing writing, you have become a writer. This is the perfect metaphor for the final and ultimate stage of applying the law of assumption. The initial techniques, the visualizations, the mental diets, the revisions, are like the training wheels. They are essential tools for learning. But the goal is not to use the training wheels forever. The goal is to embody your new state so completely that it becomes your new nature, an effortless and unconscious state of being. The most common pitfall on this journey is getting stuck in the doing phase. People can become perpetual manifestors, always performing their techniques, always working on their mindset, always trying to get something that is outside of them. They treat the law like a complex machine that they must constantly operate correctly to receive a prize. This keeps them in a state of effort and subtly in a state of seeking. As long as you feel you have to keep trying to feel wealthy, it means that on some level you still feel that you are not. This is like the cyclist who, even after years, still has to consciously think about every pedal stroke. They can get from one place to another, but they have not achieved mastery. The final goal is not to be good at doing the techniques of assumption, but to make the techniques obsolete by being the assumption. It is a complete and total merger with your desire, where there is no longer any separation between you and it in your consciousness. The key indicator that you are transitioning from doing to being is the arrival of a feeling of profound naturalness. As you persist in faithfully living from the end, a day will come when the state of your wish fulfilled will no longer feel like something you are trying to create. It will simply feel like who you are. Thinking of yourself as successful and abundant will feel as normal and ordinary as knowing your own name. In fact, the idea of returning to your old state of lack or struggle will begin to feel strange, uncomfortable, and utterly foreign to you. This feeling of naturalness is the quiet, confident signal from your subconscious mind that the new belief has been fully accepted, that the seed has germinated and is now a permanent and stable part of your inner landscape. There is no special technique to force this feeling. It is the natural reward of your persistence and your faithfulness to your unseen reality. When the new state feels more real and more natural to you than your old one, you have successfully embodied it. Upon reaching this state of naturalness, you will automatically enter a profound mental state of rest, a state referred to by the great spiritual teachers as the Sabbath. This is not a state of laziness or complacency. It is a state of deep, unshakable inner peace. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing the creative act is finished. You will find that the intense longing for your desire has vanished. Why? Because you cannot long for something you already have. The feeling of neediness is replaced by a calm sense of possession. You will no longer feel the urge to constantly visualize or affirm for that specific goal, because you are already living in its reality within your consciousness. You can let it go in absolute faith, knowing that its appearance in your physical world is now a certainty. You have successfully planted your seed in the fertile ground of your subconscious, and you now rest, knowing that the laws of nature will ensure its growth. This state of Sabbath is the ultimate expression of faith. It is the director in the studio, after a perfect take, calmly saying, "Cut, print it," knowing with absolute certainty that the scene is complete and will appear in the final film. Once you have successfully brought one desire into your world by fully embodying its state, you will have an unshakable understanding of your true power. You will see with perfect clarity that life is not a random series of events, but a continuous and joyful cycle of creation. You will realize that you are not here to achieve one single goal and then be done. You are here to continuously explore the infinite possibilities of your own being by choosing and embodying ever grander and more beautiful states. After embodying wealth, you might decide to assume the state of perfect, radiant health. You would apply the same principles, define it, feel it, live in it until it becomes natural, and then rest in the Sabbath. After that, you may choose to embody the state of a deeply fulfilling, loving relationship, or one of profound creative expression. Life becomes a glorious adventure in which you are the sole author of your script. You move through the world not as someone hoping for good fortune, but as the very source of it, consciously creating your heaven on earth, one assumption at a time. The ultimate purpose of this teaching, therefore, is not to give you a magic wand to acquire things. It is to awaken you to the profound and liberating truth of your own identity. You are not the limited human being that your senses report you to be. You are the formless, all-powerful consciousness that is imagining this entire world into existence. The journey of assumption is the journey of coming home to your true self. The final aim is to make this understanding not an intellectual concept or a technique you apply, but the very center of your being. When you live every moment from the deep, inner knowing that you are the creator of your reality, you are truly free. The world then becomes your beautiful playground, a magnificent mirror that faithfully and lovingly reflects back to you the ever-unfolding story of what you have assumed yourself to be. You have discovered that a rich life is not something you chase, but something you assume. It is not an external condition to be acquired, but an internal state to be embodied. Your journey has taken you from understanding that your consciousness is the only reality to learning how to shift your beliefs, visualize your end, and align your daily life with your new state of being. You now know that you are the sole creative power in your universe, and your life is and always will be a perfect mirror of your inner assumptions. Thank you for taking the time to journey through these principles. We hope you have found this valuable. If you did, please consider liking this video, leaving a comment with your thoughts, and subscribing to Success Attraction Formula for more content to help you build your best life. Thank you for watching.